Hello, my name's Ethan. Make sure to check out my website, ethanwrenn.com. From there you can find links to all my various socials. We're currently live on Twitch and YouTube, so wherever you might be seeing this, make sure to follow and subscribe if you'd like to get notified when we go live next. On my website, guys, I have a blog. As you can see, just go to ethanwrenn.com, top right-hand corner, click the blog button, and you'll be presented with this page. This page consists of a bunch of different articles from finance to the history of some of the companies we cover here on this channel, gaming, emulation, technology. There's a bunch of different content on this website that you might find interest in. So I'd highly recommend going and checking it out, letting me know what you think. You're able to leave comments on each and every page. So let me know what you think. I'd really appreciate it. Also, guys, go to my YouTube. Go to my YouTube. As you can see, I'm currently live. I'm constantly updating the YouTube with new content, new videos. I'm highlighting some of the stuff from these streams, uploading it to YouTube, so it's a great place to look at older content. Also on the YouTube channel, we have playlists. So if you're trying to sift through my over 800 videos, this is maybe a more organized way to do so. Whether you're looking for crypto videos, commodity videos, ETF videos, it's more organized and you're easily able to find what you're looking for. So the next company we're going to be looking at today is going to be HD, Home Depot. This video was made March 27th, 2023. So a little less than a year ago, roughly 9 months. Let's see what I had to say about Home Depot in March 2023. Yep. Well, we are looking at symbol HD for Home Depot Incorporated. Before we get started, right up here next to the symbol, you will see a W. This means every candle represented on this chart represents 1 week of time. It's important to keep in mind your time frame so that you have a general idea of how long it might take for some of these patterns to start playing out. So you're probably asking me, probably thinking to yourself, hey Ethan, what is it you like about Home Depot? Well, if we come over here, you'll see Home Depot currently offers a dividend yield of 2.95%. That is absolutely great. That is right in line with that U.S. national average of roughly 3% for a singular stock, and much higher than you might expect out of an ETF that might range anywhere from 1 to 1.7%. Now, what else might I like about Home Depot? As you can see, Home Depot, for decades and decades, has shown phenomenal growth over very long periods of time, Just continues to grow, and it's a very blue chip name, very household name, something you're all very familiar with, something you recognize in your local neighborhood. You might even know people who work there. Very household name. It has performed exponentially well over the years, and I don't see any reason for that to not be the case moving forward. What else might I like about Home Depot? Well, we like to take technicals into account on this channel. For example, one of the things we look at is the RSI. When the RSI is down at the bottom, touching that 30 area, that's typically a sign that the symbol is oversold or potentially a good value. When the RSI is high in the sky, banging its head against a 70, that's typically a sign that it's overbought or potentially overvalued. Let me quickly go through and mark some of the times where the RSI has been as low as it is currently. Entries and exits into these different investments. As you can see, the blue weekly 180 moving average gets used as a support. So every time that RSI is oversold, it comes down, touches that blue weekly 180 moving average, tends to act as a support, and then it will bounce off of that blue 180 weekly moving average all the way as far back as over here. Right now, where do we think that Home Depot will be going in the future? Something to also note is this blue line on this bar chart here is growing over time. This is their revenue. That means even though they're making 10% every year, which is great, that is a very healthy company, that 10% is representative of a bigger and bigger revenue. So again, in 2018, 10% of the revenue would have been $10.8 billion, while in 2022, last year, that 10% of revenue would have been $15-ish billion. So that is growing substantially. So the amount of revenue they're bringing in is almost up 40% in that time frame. It's absolutely huge, guys. Very healthy company, very profitable. Everyone's very familiar with Home Depot. Very blue chip. Again, they have only shown at the price per share of SPY when I made this video, $396. Signs of growth ever since their IPO. Never really a struggling time for this company. They tend to perform quite well around certain news that could happen, like potential. I think I did a great job covering this company. Again, it's Home Depot, very blue chip company, very familiar. Everybody's knows about this company. An interesting fact about HD that I actually covered in another one of my videos available on my channel, which in this video, we covered the top held dividend stocks across 5 different of the most common, most popular dividend funds. And Home Depot has, across all these 5 popular dividend funds, received some of the highest allocation. So I found that form of analysis to be very interesting, and there's a whole separate video covering that. I highly recommend looking into it. And again, as you can see, Home Depot, 2.69% dividend. We love dividends. As a bullish investor, we love dividends. They maintain a rigid 10% profit margin with a growing revenue year over year, with significant growth in that revenue to, I believe I stated in the video, as much as 40% gains on their revenue in roughly a 5-year period, maintaining a 10% profit margin. Very solid. So let's see where Home Depot is today. The share price for Home Depot when we made this video was $281.27. Currently, Home Depot is trading at $362.41, guys. Absolutely huge. So as you can see, it was roughly right in this candle right here when we made the video, right in this candle. And since then, we've seen Home Depot gain as much as 26.79%. Very solid. And that's not that long of a time period. That's only 295 days. Pretty solid. We'll look at that a little closer in a moment here. As you see, we'll switch to the daily, and from the time when we made the video, we will overlay a symbol such as the S&P 500. And as you can see, pretty neck and neck. Give or take on your exact average, Home Depot for this time period would have been up as much as 29.06%, while the S&P 500, on the other hand, would be up only 21.95%. That is almost a 45-50% additional gain in performance you would have received by opting to hold a product such as Home Depot instead of the S&P 500, helping you amplify your returns and meet your goal of outpacing the S&P 500 on your personal portfolio. As you can see, throughout this time period, they've had 3 earnings reports, and they managed to beat every single one of them. They beat every single one of them. If we look at their financials, we'll go look at the quarterly. Again, they're maintaining that rigid 10% profit margin. Growth in their revenue year over year. Very solid, guys. I really like recapping some of these trades that we've made over the past year or so, because it shows what taking a proper action to invest in your future can actually do, and it can actually pay off if you do it right. Making money in the stock market is not a get rich quick scheme. This is not something you're just going to put money into and then the next day it's gone through the roof. That's not how the stock market works. In fact, the only way you're going to see a significant change in your money in a short time, like 24 hours, is when you're losing it. So try and stay away from that high risk stuff and move into these very steady, very blue chip companies that offer high dividends, and you could potentially seek to benefit a lot. And again, when we did that performance comparison between the S&P 500 and HT, we didn't even account for the fact that the dividends you would have been receiving from something like Home Depot are higher than the S&P 500. So that's something to keep in mind. Pretty solid. Again, we saw a little bit of this sideways movement here in Home Depot. We've seen this on a few symbols now, mainly symbols that are kind of lining up with those Dow type products, whether it be like banks or potentially like these home builders. Our video, again, was made back in March 2023, so we were already halfway through this, so we kind of benefited by not having to wait and through all of this, benefit of time. Let's actually annualize this return while we're here. It was actually right in the very bottom. Well, what a coincidence. Like, right as we're making this video at 281, which is the very bottom of this candle right here, the wick of this candle. There's not even body at the price point that we made this video. It is only wick. And then all of a sudden, it's seeing this explosive move to the bullish side. What a coincidence, guys, right? So let's annualize this return real quick. $28.53 divided by annualized, that would be an annualized rate of return of roughly 34.81%, which is extremely good, guys. That is very solid. That's more than the S&P did over the past 1 year. So we did like this trade. I think this trade performed extremely well. And again, this is not accounting for the dividend yield, which you would also be receiving during this time period. But let's move into our next symbol.